All right, so let's talk about how much protein you should be consuming in a day, idealistically, to pack on the most amount of muscle, and kind of the myths that surround the idea of protein. Okay, so I know that it's very common for people to say, okay, well, your body's only going to absorb a certain amount of protein in a day. So, drinking a protein shake that has 60 grams of protein in it is not ideal. That's kind of a myth, all right? Your body will absorb anywhere between 95% or more of the protein that you consume in a day, but that's not the determining factor of whether or not you're going to build muscle, right? So when we look at protein, we look at it from when we think of protein, we're like, okay, that is the building block of muscle. But it's not really the protein that's the building block of muscle. It's the amino acid chains that are in that protein that are the building blocks of muscle. And then when we start to get into the science of it, and I don't want to get it too complicated because I feel like in the fitness space, we start to get too complicated and trying to explain all the science behind it. But essentially it's this, okay? Is that it boils down to the body's ability to perform protein synthesis or to synthesize proteins, okay? That's really what will determine how well your body takes that protein and turns it into muscle, right? So when we look at it from that context, it varies across populations. So depending on how well your body synthesizes protein will determine how much protein you should be consuming throughout the day, right? So to obtain the strength or muscle goals or fitness goals that you're looking to accomplish and achieve. So when you look at it from that context, it's really all based off of your genetics, okay? So when you're thinking to yourself, okay, so how many grams of protein should I consume in a day? Sometimes they say it should be two times the amount of, you should be consuming the two times the amount of lean muscle mass that you have on your body in protein if you want to grow the muscle, right? But how do you determine that? Most people are probably not going to know the skeletal muscle mass of their body. That's kind of hard to determine. But if you don't have that information, if you've never done any type of sort of hydrostatic weighing, had an MRI where where you've seen the what composes of the body, or you've done an in-body scan and found out what how much muscle you have on your body. If you don't have that data, then it's a little harder to scientifically know the hard numbers. But nonetheless, I would say play with your protein, okay? So if you're currently right now 200 pounds and you want to be 10 more pounds than what you are, see if you can consume 200 grams of protein in a day, okay, which is relatively pretty feasible with meat, eating protein dense foods and a supplement as far as protein is concerned. You should be able to consume at least 200 grams of protein and see what happens. And if you're still not feel like you're putting on more muscle, try some more, right? And then the next piece of advice that I would give you is, I know that this supplement is typically has been in the fitness world kind of laughed about whether or not it works or not. And those are branched chain amino acids as a supplement, right? So amino acids are a great supplement because they increase the body's ability to synthesize protein, okay? Especially leucine. Is very helpful in the body's ability to synthesize protein. So when I look at amino acids from that context, and I look at it from a genetic component of whether or not your body's going to do a really good job with the protein you consume in a day, then I would like to think that the amino acids are important part of your supplement regime. Okay, so just a couple things to think about when you're thinking about the idea of how much protein you're trying to consume in a day to build that muscle and strength and accomplish the fitness goals you're looking to accomplish and achieve. All right, hope this tip helped.